Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're hitting the road for a little adventure to salvage some good metal.
Man, I felt bad tearing this one down, but the hail absolutely wrecked it. The owner was sending it to the scrapyard the next day anyway, so at least some of it gets a second life on my build. Let's roll back to the workshop now.
Let's address the biggest issue. The bottom of the pillars, as you can see, they don't exist at all. Like, this is so bad, I have never seen this in my whole life. In order to fix this, we took the parts from this donor car. And now we are hoping that we are going to be able to remove all this part by part and weld the parts from a donor car which is in way better condition. I mean, in comparison to this, everything is better. As I promised you the last time, I'm going to show you how our rotisserie works. As you can see, the sand from sandblasting is coming out of the chassis holes. But I think that's a good thing because we need to blow out the whole sand, because that's something that could really jeopardize our process of painting afterwards. You remember from the first episode we were struggling with some of these screws. We did not succeed to remove them, so that's where my brother chopped a couple of parts. For instance, these lower control arms, we had to chop them off so that we leave the screws in there, here as well. And the reason why we left them was it's better for sandblasting to leave the screws in the holes. So now finally we're gonna address that and try to remove this. It didn't went as I expected. As you can see, there's a whole part in it which is now rotating. So yeah, we're just gonna remove it when we get to that part. Let's go and try this one, see how's our luck with that one. Right side, not so lucky. So the nut is spinning inside of this housing. So there's no way to reach it with a wrench, so unfortunately we need to open it up, and then we are gonna have to seal it back, weld it again. But now we have the problem, we need to hold the nut in order to unscrew this. So yeah, let's do it. Yesterday it was a really long day of cutting the parts from donor car, cutting the parts from this one, then test fitting, then getting back to the table, cutting some more, test fitting again, and then we're on the inner rocker panel. This section is missing. This section from the donor car is in a really great condition in comparison to the original one. As you can see, there's some rust, but we're gonna remove this and we're gonna treat it afterwards. In order to put this section here, we're gonna have to remove these two parts, and then after we put in the section, we're gonna put them back. So after that, we are coming to the outer side rocker. Great news about that one is that we already have this part. That's gonna make our life a whole lot easier. As you can see, we really packed it with all different parts, but it looks way better. There are no holes. We have a new side rocker, which was very important for us. And also this part was new, also looking great. What we did, we tried to flatten out this surface as good as we could. There was a lot of Bondo, but we removed it. This part here came from the donor car. There's still a dent here, but we can reach it from the other side. We're gonna pull it out. It's gonna be good. Of course, there's gonna have to be some Bondo here, but it's gonna look good. This part here, we also took from the donor car. This part here we had to fabricate, and this one is a new side rocker. This whole thing looks amazing. We fitted the doors, it all fits and aligns nicely. I think this is a job well done. One side, the driver's side, is now done. We're gonna leave it at this state and we're gonna start working on the other one. Guys, I wanted to show you all the parts which I got from EG6, and I was really curious what's really the difference between these parts. This is the front subframe from EG6, this is from my EG3. Basically, I really don't see any difference between these two, because from the size and the shape, it looks perfectly the same. It looks like you could take power steering rack from this one, put it on this one, and that's it. The engine mount for B16 looks like this, for D13 looks like this. Again, I really don't see the difference between these two. Let's say power steering rack is much bigger on this one and this one. And also, of course, there's a system here, which we don't have on EG3 because we didn't have power steering. Lower control arms, EG6, EG3. EG3 had drums, which are something that I really don't want to have on my car. And I really don't think that these are a perfect fit for B16. They don't have that stopping power. From EG6, you can see that, of course, we can mount brake calipers, and I did not wanted to make some kind of a conversion from this one to use some adapter. I wanted to have the real deal. Again, talking about the arm, I really don't see any difference between these two. Obviously, only thing in the hub here, because yeah, you have the mountings for the calipers. Here are the calipers from EG6. Good. EG3, EG6. Again, the same thing, this one and this one. When I'm looking at them, they look perfectly the same. So I thought maybe the mounts here, or the brackets are different, but in a size. This is 14 centimeters here, and here also 14 centimeters. These ones are in diameter 232 millimeters. On EG6, they are 262 millimeters. But since we are gonna upgrade the brakes, these are from Integra Type R, DC2. This one is the original one from EG6, and this one here is from EG3. You can see that obviously that this one is the smallest one, but when talking about size, these two, they look quite the same. The only difference is, of course, that the cylinder on DC2 Type R is much bigger than this one. I'm putting these ones here. These are 4 × 100. We need 282 rotors and not 262. Integra with these calipers has 282, but the rotors are with 5 holes. This one is obviously 4 × 100, but we found that MG set has exactly the same rotors, 282 and 4 holes. So we're gonna combine these ones with those rotors, and it's gonna be a perfect fit. Also, it's gonna be a nice upgrade. Civic EGs, they came with double wishbone. That's something what was at that time when it was produced really reserved for super sport cars. and that's something why so many people chosen the Civic EG, because its handling, it's really amazing. Master brake cylinder, EG3, EG6. It's obvious that it's way bigger, and also the booster, you can see that the booster is huge in comparison to the one from EG3. That's a wrap for today. I have great news. I just bought B16 engine with S20 transmission. I also got intake and exhaust manifold on that one. I have ECU with wiring harness, and on top of all that, I just got a Mugen muffler. I think that thing is gonna sound so great. Can't wait to put it all back together. I know that this episode and the previous one were a little bit slow. I know it's not that interesting content for all of you guys, but bear with me here. Already next episode is gonna be all about prepping and painting the whole car, and after that we are back to putting everything together. I think that is the most satisfying content there is. So please consider subscribing. It's really helpful to make this channel grow, and we see each other in about 1 month. Thank you guys.